the seat of the Hanuman as prana is in the heart. But what's in the heart of Hanuman himself? Remember? When he opened his heart, right, like that, when he opened his heart to reveal the essence, there is a Rama and Sita.
Yeah.
Rama and Sita in his heart. See? He tore the chest apart to show what beneath his anatomy, what is at the heart of the heart.
Maybe the first day you talked about the main goddesses of fire, sun and moon. And when you mentioned the goddesses of the moon, you mentioned Tripura Sundari and also Saraswati. And I also felt that there was something more you could have added. And I knew Tripura Sundari and not Saraswati. And I asked myself, is it if more beauty or more creativity is the focus when the one or the other is like put into, like represents the moon? And then again, if this is the case, I think there is something fleeting between beauty and creativity, because creation gives birth to beauty and beauty gives birth to creativity. So it was like just curious to know something more about this Saraswati, Sundari. I mean, you mentioned that and that made me curious. Why?
Okay, so this was kind of introducing it here and giving due to the Vedic perspective, which also, of course, shared in a lot of schools and systems of yoga. If you pick up any publication by Bihar Yoga Foundation, they'll have a beautiful expositions on that. Beautiful expositions, like really lucidly done, and not just in let's say Sundarya Lahari of Adi Shankara, which translates as the waves of beauty, his monumental offering to the Shakti. But if we are to speak, let's say, more leaning to this, let's say, perspective, the Shaivite perspective, right? Then what is represented by Tripura Sundari, which basically the Tripura here stands for the three-in-one aspects. And as the lunar quality of the Shaktis, where, effectively speaking, it's inseparable from the nectar of immortality that is by then, when the lunar phase ensues, is what floods the system, as the tradition goes, from all limitations, sins and what have you, right? It's just that what the Amritam here represents. Nectar of immortality, Amritam. And of course, it's the phase, somic phase, and the Tripura Sundari stands as the goddess in the pantheon of Vedic goddesses, particularly in the pantheon of 10 greatest Vedic goddesses, where they can be divided into, just as gods as well, but if we are to speak of the goddesses, they can be divided into 3 groups, 3 categories. The electric, or those associated with the electricity, thunder, right? Fiery and lunar. So this is how they are. Like, just to give an example, in Vedic lore, right? Indra would be the carrier of this electric quality, whereas Agni would, obviously, is the fiery quality, and then god Soma would be the lunar. And just as a footnote, in Rig Veda and in all Vedic thought, all these are male gods. They all, Soma is a male god. So it sometimes comes as a surprise to Western students of yoga to find out that all lunar qualities of the moon was always associated with feminine qualities. Suddenly in Rig Veda, Soma, to whom so many suktas are dedicated, is a male god, like Indra or like Agni. But then, of course, there's a whole pantheon of Vedic goddesses as counterparts. So, yes, when I spoke about that, it's kind of like wasn't really the Shaivites' perspective. In Shaivites' perspective, there are this unique, let's say, perspective on how they incorporated all that into its own system of understanding. And instead, right, whereas the essences that these goddesses represent remains the same. It couldn't be otherwise, right? The, let's say, male or feminine and masculine Bhairavi or Bhairava does represent the domain of innermost fire, the very, very seat of Kundalini, and the Kali in the heart, right? But when it comes to the lunar realm here, when it comes to the culmination of the process of ascent of consciousness, when Prana Kundalini, Prana Shakti ascends fully, and this is taken over by the lunar phase, lunar quality, characterized and spoken of as repose and return. It is then worshipped as forever young 16-year-old virgin Kundalini who abides above Sahasrara. See? This is true to unique systems. You can find that in Kaulika, you can find that in Srividya, and you can find that among the Shaivites. For example, everyone quotes Adi Shankara in non-duality circles and Neo-Advaita. Shankara is the god of Advaita Vedanta. But Shankara also, as the author of the Saundarya Lahari, the hymn to Shakti effectively, was also known to be the worshipper of that form of the goddess, as forever 16-year-old virgin, abides above any region that is available to the highest yogi. You see how this hierarchy is. For example, the greatest realizer considered to be in the United States in the history in the 20th century, so-called Adida Samraj, who had many, many different incarnations. He was known by under many different names. He made a very erroneous and at the same time very arrogant admonition to prove him being right in his purported and notorious disagreement with someone he considered for a time being his guru, that of Swami Muktananda, that famous line, "I had my way with her." Okay, that's like New Yorker language. He talked about Shakti, you see? And his disagreement, of course, was lauded by a lot of his followers, some of whom had PhDs, doctorates in comparative religion and knew Indian philosophy very well. Adida Samraj was backed up by likes of Alan Watts, Ken Wilber, and the list goes on. He was considered to be, you guys don't know him, you're too young.
I know.
But yeah, some of you know him if you've been around. So dust have settled. He truly an awakened, fully awakened, highly advanced being, I would say. But this was complete and utter miss on his part. and also showed the arrogance of that exact, coming from that exact reason that we spoke about it earlier on today in the introductory part to the continuation of our today's theme. When I spoke about this, let's say, when the outsiders begin to interpret tradition, even if they know it well. You see? So the concept of Kundalini here has this element that after the heroic journey is completed and the sage fully realizes, right, this highest potential in this, what's available, become Jivan Mukta, liberated whilst alive. They worship Kundalini, who is above Sahasrara, because there are protruding chakras above, beyond the order of the 7 chakras. Sahasrara is not technically a chakra anymore, because it doesn't have speed of rotation as all other chakras. Chakras terminate here. Sahasrara is simply called chakras simply for, I don't know, classification reasons, but it is not a chakra. So that, of course, is inseparable from where Tantra and Vedic thought, Vedic science interlinked. In both cases, it's all about soma. It's all about that coveted, nectarian, right, beverage which satisfies the hunger of all the gods, as the hymns of Rig Veda goes. So this is how, let's say, would have been maybe more fitting to speak with regard to that more Shaivite's perspective. Saraswati is, again, very, very pan-Indian goddess, you see? And you would not encounter Saraswati in Tantric Shaivism much at all, because of the aforementioned reasons. The only obvious goddesses that were incorporated is, of course, Kali, as the most ancient, perhaps, form of the goddess, and that of Bhairavi, as the counterpart of Bhairava. So, something I want to add, to go back to the sparsha and to the touch and to the heart. Just something, because we speak about the gods, and just to also allocate another beautiful Vedic myth, right? Vedic, let's say, here, deity. All of you know Hanuman, right? And you know that Hanuman, monkey god, was the son of Prana, right? He was the most powerful. He's the one who leaped from Indian subcontinent to Lanka so the bridge can be built eventually. And so as to go and venture and find out where Sita was. Even Rama could not do that. Nobody could do that. Hanuman was the only one. Remember, the story was when Rama was ill, right, dying from the wounds. The particular herb needed from the Himalayas, from the mountain where it grows. He flew to Himalayas, but on the way he was so far, so eager to serve, to save Rama. When he arrived, he forgot the name of the herb. So without hesitation, he took the whole mountain, that contains that herb, and brought the whole mountain there. It's like this is Ramayana. But yes, indeed, Hanuman as an expression, right, of prana, He's the son of Prana. Therefore, his force is immeasurable. He doesn't even know how powerful he is. You see?
How what? I didn't
How
know.
powerful he is.
Yeah.
He himself doesn't know the limits of his power. So when he, for example, need to do that leap, it's a leap of faith. He doesn't know whether he's going to make it or not. And he found the highest point and then runs and leaps across the, waters to Lanka. But indeed, the seat of the Hanuman as Prana is in the heart. But what's in the heart of Hanuman himself? Remember? When he opened his heart, right, like that, when he opened his heart to reveal the essence, there is a Rama and Sita.
Yeah.
Rama and Sita in his heart. See? He tore the chest apart to show what beneath his anatomy, what is at the heart of the heart. And of course, Ramayana here is a law for folk, right? To be educated in, about these matters through the storyline, through the narrative and everything. But what it represents here, of course, is Shiva Shakti. Rama and Sita are that. Shiva Shakti. So this is also with regard to that seat of prana in the heart of all pranic forces. You see? So the power of the touch at a subtle level has that.